What's good, guys? Welcome back to Behind the Dugouts. And West Ham, can we play you every week? I've got 5 reasons why. What a performance. Going off the back of the Crystal Palace game where our forward line was shooting blanks, it was an absolute snooze fest. To have a complete flip in this game and go out and score 5, and not only score 5 different goal scorers. It was a superb performance. Chelsea 5, West Ham 1. The Hammers get hammered. What a game. But before we talk about all the positives that Chelsea produced in this game, we have to talk about the opposition. We've got to talk about West Ham. They were absolutely terrible. They were terrible. They look so much worse than they were last season. They started off the game well. First 5-10 minutes, they obviously got the absolute worldie of the strike from Paqueta. Little mistake by Estevao in the middle. He's then allowed to dribble through in midfield, has a screamer from 25 to 30 yards. And yes, you could say Sanchez probably could have done a bit better. It looked like the ball was swerving in the air. He led with his wrong arm. Little finer details. It looked like he could have done a bit better. But regardless of that, screamer, get themselves 1-0 up. You thought that they might kick on from there, and it could be a long day for Chelsea. Was it going to be a typical Chelsea game where we're going to make it difficult? No, we didn't. After that, we just went and took the game by the scruff of the neck. Bar the little offside goal that they got after we scored the equaliser. Again, a great goal from João Pedro. He's back to scoring again. He's had one game missed and now he's back into, continuing his form. And it's from a set piece, something that we barely scored last season. We seem to be a lot better at set piecing. And I noticed in the Crystal Palace game as well, when we were taking our corners, we were always trying to deliver it to the front post and flick it on for a knock-on. And that's how we scored from this one. Straight into the front post, into Cucurella. João Pedro scoring the equalising goal to make it 1-1. And after that, West Ham just capitulated. They were they couldn't string much together. They were not pressing. I mean, there was a moment in the middle, I think it was before half-time, where Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez are playing keep ball like they're at the park in the middle, and 2 West Ham players are just standing there watching them. You've got the crowd booing and making noise, trying to get them to press. It is not looking good at the moment. And have Chelsea just started the catalyst for Graham Potter's sacking? Who knows? But it ain't looking good, bruv, for him. I ain't going to lie. Moving into Chelsea. I mean, what a performance. Across from the back line all the way through the front. The football was immaculate. We were playing some really nice football at times. It was really, really good to watch. Obviously, we got hit with the disappointing news straight off the back before we had even started the game with the injury to Cole Palmer. I think it's just a precautionary. Maybe he felt something in the warm-up. Better to sit him out, not to aggravate it anymore. Totally get that. I'm fine with that. As, he's going to be a vital part of this team moving forward and potentially going on to win the league. That's what we all hope. That's what we all want. So we want him to stay fit. So that's fine. And to be honest, with the lineup, I was happy over the majority. I would have liked to have seen Estevao start, which in the end he did. And I would have also liked to see Andre Santos. But the player that I thought he would replace in Enzo, he had a blinding game too. So I thought Maresca got it right across the board. I'll go through the lineup quickly just before we get into more of the details. So we had Sanchez in goal. We had Gusto at right back, which I knew was going to come in, with Tosin and Chalobah at centre-backs, with Cucurella as the left back. 2 midfield pivot of Moises Caicedo and Enzo. Right-hand side was Estevao. In the 10 was João Pedro. And on the left, Pedro Neto. And up front was Liam Delap. Performances across the board, brilliant. To put 5 past this West Ham team in set-piece plays, from open play, the combinations that seem to be developing between the players, and 2 in particular, in João Pedro and Pedro Neto, the 2 Pedros, they seem to combining really well. And the same type of goal was scored. If you remember in the AC Milan game, Pedro Neto crossed the ball onto João Pedro's head. Same sort of position on the right-hand side of the box. This game, they had a mistake. I think Paqueta got caught on the ball by Trevor Chalobah, tried to fake an injury, was holding his eye, looking like he was crying. We got the ball back. João Pedro picked it up on the edge, crossed it in. Pedro Neto around the back to make it 2-1, slotting it straight in the goal. And then from there, It was just an absolute battering of West Ham. Third goal scored by Enzo Fernandez, but we have to talk about two players in particular, Liam Delap and Estevao in this, or Estevao as some people are calling him, and I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I will, as the season goes on, pronounce it correctly. But for now, I'm just going to call him Steve, I think. When Estevao picked it up in the middle of the field, laid it into Liam Delap, who then give him a little 1-2 to allow him to open up that space to dribble in behind. And you would think most players of his age, wants to make a name for himself, wants to keep starting, would shoot in that position. But he had the awareness and he had the maturity to know that he's going to have a player bombing in from the edge of the box to get into, that 6-yard area. And all he did was look up, cut it back. And Enzo Fernandez is there again where he's been so many times over the course of the last season. On the edge, crashing the box, slotting it home, and it was 3-1. And it was looking like, you got the West Ham fans evacuating like there is a storm coming and they're about to lose all their belongings. They were rushing out the stadium at that point. And it was only 3-1. It weren't even half time yet. It was beautiful to see. Going into the second half, we're all sitting here at halftime going, man, we getting 6, we getting 7, we getting 8. It was more going into the cricket score, type of thing. And we were trying to work out how much we were going to score rather than if we should be worried. It was past that point. That's how poor West Ham were. Started the second half really strong. Got, again, 2 early goals. Before the 60th minute, we are up 5-1. Fourth goal scored by none other than the midfield central defensive maestro Moises Caicedo from another set piece. Don't know what the West Ham goalkeeper's doing at this point. He's come out to try and batter it away with both hands. He's flapped at it like some pansy. It's flopped down to Moises Caicedo's foot. First time finish off the top of the crossbar in the back of the net. 4-1 up. Chelsea are cruising at this point. And to make it worse, we thought, you know what, our forward line, our midfielders are scoring. Why don't we just throw a defender in there? And that's what we did. Set piece again, ball in. Trevor Chalobah, another mistake. There he is, a little assist from João Pedro. Might have not noticed that, but he did knock it down to Trevor in the end. Little knockdown, Trevor slotting it away to make it 5-1. Hammers hammered. What a beautiful game. Lots of players to talk about in individual performances too. I thought, Estevao got the man of the match. I thought he played really well. I thought Liam Delap went a little bit under the radar. Though he didn't score, he did a lot of the dirty work. He was opening a lot of spaces for a lot of players. He was involved in the Enzo Fernandez goal, and he did a lot of the grinding that goes a little bit unnoticed. Again, if strikers aren't scoring, they tend to get criticised and crucified because they're not producing, the goods at the end of the day. But what he did off the ball and combining and linking with the players to allow that space for other players to get on the ball and score, it was really, really good to watch. You had the likes of João Pedro, who I thought was really superb in the 10. He was picking up the ball. He was doing that Cole Palmer role. He was, shifting from left to right, got his goal to maintain that scoring streak while not playing in the front line. He looks like he is going to be an absolute worldie of the signing. There is one player that I do want to mention who I think has gone a little bit under the radar, as well as Liam Delap. Not just in this game, but sort of since the back end of the season, sort of Club World Cup. Pretty much started against Fulham, and that's Pedro Neto. From when we got him in, beginning part of the season up until now, there was times where people wanted him to do a bit more, especially going towards the end of the season where we really needed to pick up points to get to top 4, where you needed these players to step up. And since the Fulham game, he has definitely stepped up. And I have to say, yesterday, he looked unreal. He was taking on his players. He was bringing up play. He was beating people 1v1. He's scoring. He's combining. He works non-stop through the whole match. One of the things we say when Pedro Neto's on the right-hand side, you don't need that overlapping fullback because he can do that job constantly up and down the wing all the time. You don't need any defensive cover because he's always there. And he is an absolute workhorse. And he done it right, left, wherever he was today, he was producing for the team. And again, it was lovely to see him get on the score sheet. And I have a feeling the type of goal that we saw from Pedro Neto, we're going to see quite a lot from him. I think the understanding and the link up between Pedro Neto and João Pedro, they seem to understand each other because it's the second time they've combined in a very, very similar way. I think that option is going to be on more often than not, whether it's Pedro Neto delivering the same type of cross into João Pedro or vice versa. If João Pedro's either playing on the wing or in the 10. So I definitely keep your eyes out for that in the oncoming season. Defensively, I also thought we were pretty solid today. It was really good to have Tosin back in the side. He was trying those breaking line passes very often in the game. He was finding the midfielders. He was finding the strikers. It looked good. We were solid across the board again. Trevor solid, Cucurella solid, Gusto was solid again. He seems to be finding his form. There was, times back at the end of this last season where he was struggling, but it looks like he's starting to find his feet a little bit. Maresca's asking him to do a slightly different job than before, and he seems a lot more comfortable, and you can see it in his performance and what he's producing on the pitch. It was solid across the board, and this could be the kickstart that we're going to see now going forward. We've got Fulham next, I believe, in the Premier League. And this could be the catalyst to continue. If we keep improving and keep playing this way, I think the Crystal Palace was a bit of a wake-up call. The Premier League is a tough league. We know that. It's the toughest league in the world. And you've got to be on it every week, every game, if you want to reach the end goal, and that is lifting the trophy at the end of the season. So I think Crystal Palace definitely gave us, a back-to-earth kind of remembrance. And now the West Ham game, we kick on from here with our performances and we keep playing the same way that we're playing. I'm sure Cole Palmer will be back next week. We had the return of Wesley Fofana come in, which again, it's going to be good to have these options for Maresca to use, especially in the centre-back position, because it was looking really light last weekend. I still think there is an opportunity to improve it, but the statements that are coming out, it doesn't look like that is going to be an option. It doesn't look like we're going to go in for a centre-back. We are going to keep the decision internally and try and find a solution that way, which it could come back to bite us in the arse. We'll see. But with players like Wesley Fofana coming back, Josh Atchempong, Trevor Chalobah, Tosin's now fit. We've still got Bader Shield to come back. We'll look a bit more solid, and hopefully we can find the right combination between those 5 players to aid us in the coming season. Obviously, Levi will be back towards the back end of the season. So it is looking healthy, and I'm absolutely buzzing for the rest of this season. I just want to watch us play. I'm buzzing for the next game against Fulham. We are top of the league right now. I know nobody else has played, but we're still top, so I'm going to say it. And that is where I'm hoping and expecting us to finish this season. But that is all from me now, guys. If you are enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button. Join us on this journey. But for now, take care of yourself, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.